All right, what is up, guys? This is our stretching routine. So we're going to start with a roller. We're going to do a roller for just over 3 minutes, and we're going to start just with our glutes. So really, this is an opportunity for you guys to get comfortable with using a roller. I know it might seem a little uncomfortable or weird or awkward at the beginning, but just hang in there. And it might seem a little painful as well. But do your best to just hang in there. And if that means you just kind of laying on it and just getting comfortable with how the body feels on it, that's totally okay. But over time, this is kind of a great way to kind of pre-mobilize the body, get the soft tissue moving, and break up any fascia that's kind of bound up. So you can see I'm starting with my glutes, and then I'm going into one leg at a time. So I'm getting my hamstrings right now, and I'm kind of rotating my foot in and out, turning it. Now I'm going to hit my back for just a little bit. You might want to tuck in your shirt so it doesn't get caught. And just give the back a whole roll, nice and slow. And the big thing about this, guys, is breathing. So if there's one thing that you can think about during this session, it is your breath. So smooth, controlled breath in and out. You're basically going to command the vessel to relax, to open up, and to chill out for 25 minutes. Most of the day we're not chill. We're getting after it, and even when we are sitting down, we're breathing heavy. So use this opportunity to breathe smooth, controlled, big, slow breaths. Let's decrease that heart rate right now. So I'm getting the lats a little bit. When I first started rolling out my lats, man, they were painful. So you might be experiencing that, but just bear with me here. You can do this, and again, just repetitions is going to be the thing that's going to prove to be so valuable over time, that consistent effort. So lastly, I'm going to hit my quads before we go into some static stretching. So I'm just using kind of one leg at a time. You can just lay on it with both. Totally fine. I prefer to kind of use just one leg and put most of my weight on it. But wherever you're at, just meet yourself where you're at. And a key thing that I'm going to be kind of emphasizing in this video is you want it to feel like a 4 to 5 level intensity. So on the roller, it might not be that. It might be a little higher. But primarily when we're static stretching, you want it to be in that 4 to 5 level intensity window. So we're done with our roller, and we're going to go into a static stretch now. So we're going to sit down all the way on the floor, and we're going to do one side of our hamstring. So a single leg hamstring stretch. We're going to bring our right foot into our left thigh. We're going to take one big breath all the way up, hands overhead, and we're going to bring our hands as close as we can to our feet. If that means, right the knee, right the shin, all the way down, wherever you're at, meet yourself. If that means your knee is not straight and you have a bend, that is totally fine as well. So again, think about that 4 to 5, meet yourself where you're at. This is similar to the reps in reserve. You want to be at a 4 to 5 level intensity here, and that's what's going to allow the body over time to slowly release, slowly relax, and get more flexible. So big key here is breathing. And as you saw, you should feel this in your back as well. I was feeling this in the whole right side of my back, and as well primarily in my left leg and left hamstring. So now we're going to switch sides. So bring the left foot to the right thigh. Take one big breath up, hands overhead, and fold over. Definitely commend you guys, give you guys props for being here, for taking the time for yourself, for your vessel, and really for others. This is a massive step in you having a great day. Taking time to stretch, taking time to mobilize the body. It has more value than I think could be explained. So great job. We're going to switch it up and go into a deep hip stretch. So this is more for the adductors, the inside of the legs. We're going to bring our heels close to our groin. You can wrap your hands around your feet like I'm doing here. And we want to push our knees out to the side. Thinking of that 4 to 5 level intensity. And I'm using this opportunity as well to get a little neck mobility going. I'll do a couple of head rolls and just kind of work into the neck. The neck was a little tight. And yeah, just using this opportunity to kind of take advantage of a couple different areas at once. So key thing here is keeping your spine upright. Try not to fold over. You will see I will do that now, but the beginning part is to stay upright, and then you can fold over and get more into the back and the hips as well. I'm swaying a little bit left and right, just kind of working into the body. This is not a time to be super rigid, so play around and have fun, just exploring where your vessel is at and where it's tight, where it's not. So now we're going to go into an active hamstring stretch. We're going to stand straight up. Hands are going to be on our ankles, feet or shins, and we're going to sit back into a deep squat. And really you can go, hips are going to be at the same height or parallel with the knees. And then you're going to shoot your knees straight back. So I'm doing 10 reps here. Remember to breathe. So we're going to inhale down, and we're going to exhale as we push our knees back. Little stretch. You should feel a little shake, about a second or two, and we're going to drop it back down. So 10 reps here. You see that one? I just held it a little bit longer. So play around, guys. If you need to pause this video, do so. This is an opportunity for you to meet your body where it's at. So this next one's going to be a quad stretch, a deep hip flexor stretch. So you can stand straight up and do just a single leg quad stretch. Or this is a little bit deeper version. You can use the wall, put your foot on the wall. I'm doing my right leg first, and drop your knee down. And really what you want to think about, what I'm doing here, is straight up and down with the spine. And you want to turn that right glute on. So turn your right glute on, drive it down, kind of at an angle here, towards your left heel. And you should immediately feel a good stretch. You might feel it down closer to the knee. You might feel it in the middle of that quad. You might feel it closer to the hip and in the hip itself. So that's all kind of showing you where you're at. If it's down towards the knee, that's more of your quad that's tight. And if it's up towards your hip, it's more of your hip flexor. But again, the more you do this, the more you will want to feel this in your hip. So we're almost there, and then we're going to switch it up. Big deep breaths here. And if you need to, you can pad the knee 100%. Use a blanket, pillow. All right, we're going to switch it up. We're going to stand up and go to the other side. So bring that left foot onto the wall, drop that knee down. Get that spine upright and turn that left glute on just a little bit. You want to keep an active contraction in there, and that's really what's going to help that hip flexor to stretch. And remember, think about that 4 to 5 level intensity. You don't want to be super hyper extended like I'm showing in your back. You want to be straight up and down and drive that hip kind of at a 45-degree angle towards your heel of, in this case, the right foot. So big, deep breaths. Relax. And enjoy this time. You're doing great. All right, we are going to hop out of that one. And the next one we are going to do is a deep hip stretch. Again, this is primarily lower body stretching for you guys. We're going to bring our right foot in front of our body, and we're going to cross it over. So if you guys need to pause the video to kind of look at my position, go ahead and do so. And ideally, you should feel this in your right glute. What you want to think about doing here is activating your right foot. So bring your toes up and keep them active. And that should eliminate any pain from your knee. You can see what I'm doing here is kind of flossing back and forth through that hip. Sitting down, kind of, that's more of a relaxed position. And then, because ideally you want that hip to be touching the ground. That would be, I guess, the full extension, the full flexibility of that muscle. And I'm not there. I don't know if it will happen, but I think it can. It's just through consistent practice and repetitions. But the point being here is just to kind of move around and ultimately, again, meet yourself where you're at. And if you're feeling a stretch, that is a good thing. So we're getting ready to switch and go to the other side. So what you can do is just roll over on the leg that you were stretching and just pop on out of it. Now you're going to see I'm going to go into a little bit of a different angle so you can see kind of more of what I'm doing. So remember to keep your foot active. Your left foot, you want to bring your toes up, and ultimately that helps to keep your tib and fib in alignment and not have a bunch of twisting going on in your knee, stretching your ligaments unnecessarily. So what you can see I'm doing here is you can use a book, you can use a pillow, you can use multiple pillows, or you can sit on your roller. And that will kind of allow you to relax a little bit more into the stretch, depending on where your flexibility is at. So you can see now I'm going into that flossing movement where I'm kind of rolling over to my left side and then coming back. As I shared, like some people, they are so flexible to where right now their left glute is all the way down on the ground. So that shows that they have insane hip flexibility, and also their glutes are flexible, and hamstrings are loose as well. So if you are there, man, I give you props. And I'm stoked for you. So keep it going, keep flossing, keep breathing, and stay relaxed. You guys are doing great. We're about halfway done, just over halfway. And now we're going to pop on out of that. So just roll over onto the left side there. And we're going to go into a deep lunge stretch. So bring that right leg in front of you into a lunge position and walk that foot out as necessary. You could either walk the right foot out or walk the left foot back, left knee back. We want to be stacked. So with our right foot right now, you want to think your ankle is right over your knee joint. And whatever you need to do to allow that to happen, do so. And what I'm doing here is I'm driving that hip, as you can see, down. I'm trying to drive it to my right heel. So you can see my glute is on just slightly. Again, I'm not killing myself here. I'm in that 4 to 5 level intensity. And my hands are coming down to the floor. If you are not able to go to the floor, you can use, get near to a couch, get near to a chair, whatever you need to do to kind of meet yourself where you're at. And over time, it will allow you to get down on the floor. If you are on the floor, you can do, some wrist flexor, wrist extensor stretches, as you see me doing here, just kind of taking advantage of the positioning and keeping a mild contraction in that glute to feel a great stretch in the left hip flexor, and also feeling a little bit on the right hamstring, so underneath the right leg. So now we're going to switch. So stay in that same squat position, or that lunge position, excuse me. And we're going to sit our hips back, and now we're going to stretch the hamstring on our right side. So if your knee needs to be bent here, that's totally fine. But ideally, we want to focus on our hip, the hinge in our hip. So we want to sit our hips back. And if you need to, you can kind of grab your right hip with your hand and imagine that you're pulling it backwards. And ideally, you want to feel the stretch in your hamstring. Keep your torso upright for this portion of it. We're going to fold over in just a second. And this might be intense, but remember, whatever you need to do, get that 4 to 5 level intensity window and stay in that and breathe. So now you can see I'm rolled over. So I've kind of rolled my spine down. I'm getting more into the back and in the neck, keeping the hip back as well. And this is definitely a great stretch. So a couple more seconds, a couple more breaths, and then we're going to switch sides. We're going now back to our deep lunge. So we'll bring our left leg forward, stack that left knee over the left ankle, and drive that right hip down and forward. So turn that right glute on. And as I shared, you should feel it in the underside of your left leg and the front or the top of your right leg. And if you guys want to stay in any particular stretch longer than I am, feel free to do so, man. Pause the video, rewind it, whatever you need to do. But this is a prime opportunity to give your body some self-care and self-love so that you can be your best today. Or tomorrow if you're doing this at night. So keep that right glute on. Feel that stretch. Embrace it. Enjoy it, man. And you should notice, too, as you breathe, that you feel more flexible. You feel that muscle being lengthened. So now we're going to sit our hips back. We're going into the hamstring on the left side. So you can see I pulled my hip back so my hips are even. And my torso is upright for this phase of the stretch. Hand is on the wall. You can have it on the roller. And we're just going to breathe. So now we're going to get ready to fold over. So round that spine, drop the chin to the chest. Bring it down close to the knee. Wherever you're at, keep within that 4 to 5 level intensity. You guys are doing great. We got about 5 minutes left. So stay in it. You are doing a great thing for not only yourself, but for those around you. And all the awesome things that are in front of you. So this last one is a little bit more of an active mobility movement. It's called a 90-90. So you want to be 90 degrees with both of your feet. You might need to pause this, kind of check out the position. So I'm going to rotate with my knees, and I'm basically going to slide my hand through and under. This should be awesome for your back, for your hips. And as I come up, I'm going to rotate my hips, keep my feet planted on the ground, and kind of keep going with my torso. So as my hips rotate, I'm going to keep going with my arm and just drive it under, slide it through that left hand in this case. And as I switch, I'm going to drive my left hand under my right hand. So let's do one more. It's probably one of my favorites, but I don't do it often, which is interesting. So this next one, we're going into an active kind of strengthening little position here. We're going to pick our feet up, and we're going to do that same movement, but we're not going to allow our feet to touch the ground. So this is going to wake up and activate our deep hip muscles. So very small muscles. That's why it's so challenging. But the more we do it, the better we'll get. So we're going to just do a couple reps here, and hang in there. All right, so now we're going to finish it off with a couple more. We got one more active movement. This is a thoracic rotation. So we're going to lay on one side. I'm laying on my right side right now. I'm going to straighten my right knee, and I'm going to bring my left leg into a 90 degree. And then I'm going to rotate. So I'm bringing my hands together, and then I'm going to open up and try and lay my left shoulder onto the ground. And while I'm doing that, I want to think about my left knee, in this case, driving down towards the ground as I open up. It's going to come up a little bit, but you want to kind of be actively thinking about pressing down, and that will help with the spine rotating in this movement. This is a spine rotation mobility exercise. I'm going to do 10 reps on one side, and then I'm going to switch and lay on my other side. All right, good job, guys. Remember to keep breathing during every repetition. And again, if you need to pause, if this video is going a little too fast, go ahead and pause and finish your reps. So switching it up on the other side. Laying on my right side, my left leg is straight. My right leg is bent in a 90 degree. My hands are together, and I'm opening up as I exhale. Inhale, come together, and exhale all the way down, trying to get my right shoulder to touch that ground. And if it doesn't touch the ground, that's totally fine. Just meet yourself where you're at. Stay within that 4 to 5 window. And remember to think that you're kind of actively pushing your right leg down as you open up. We got one more exercise after this, and it's more of a static deep squat. So finish your 10 reps here, and after that we're going to hop up. We got one more movement. We're going to drop into a deep squat. So as deep as you can go. You may need to widen your stance a little bit. Really, it's just a little bit wider than a squat stance. And we're going to drop all the way down. You can see you can use a roller to kind of put your hands on. You can use the wall. You can use a chair. You can use a pole to kind of hold yourself upright. And the goal here is to kind of feel that stretch on the inside of your hips, and just work in getting lower and lower towards the ground. I'm moving to kind of show you guys a different angle so you can see it from a different spot. So you can think of using your elbows to kind of push into your knees and open up. Just meet yourself where you're at. Make sure you're breathing. Big, full breaths. Fill the lungs and exhale. We got about 20 seconds. and we're going to be done with our stretching. So good job. Congratulate each one of you guys. Way to stick it out. I hope this encouraged you, and you are off to a great rest of your day or a great evening. Great job, guys. See you soon.